Welcome to Inside Startup Investing, the only podcast where you can invest in every guest. On this episode, I will be speaking with Luca Zambello, founder and CEO of Jurny, currently raising on Start Engine. Jurny is a property management platform built to support short-term rental providers with the tools they need to make renting homes on Airbnb as easy as possible. While many think renting houses on Airbnb is easy, that's only true until you actually welcome guests. Jurny helps manage everything from making sure people don't get locked out of your house to making sure you're pricing your home competitively on websites like VRBO and Airbnb. Some of the things that really stuck out to me in talking with Luca about Jurny were that first, Luca and his team have quickly reacted to the fast-changing nature of AI and implemented many of these AI-powered capabilities into their platform, dramatically improving their customer experience. For instance, Jurny utilizes AI-powered agents to help handle many of the small but time-consuming requests that rental guests can have when staying at a home without ever involving the actual host. I was also impressed by the fact that the team has been able to grow revenues last year to over $2 million in revenue while turning off marketing spend as word of mouth and product market fit clearly grows. Lastly, Luca is the type of founder I like because he built Jurny out of his own problem he experienced running a very successful property management business with over 300 properties. He could have continued on the path he was on, but realized there was a far larger opportunity to build a bigger, more scalable business by moving away from being the actual property manager to providing the software layer to millions of vacation rental hosts. Jurny is definitely a really interesting company in a fast-growing sector. So with that, let's get on to the show and welcome Luca. So Luca, for those who don't know you, tell us a little bit about your background and how you came to found Jurny.
Yeah, well, I was born and raised in Italy, moved to LA about 15 years ago, been here since, and got involved in hospitality super early, Airbnb, like actually Airbnb wasn't yet a thing. Stumble upon the industry completely. When I moved to LA, I wanted to become an entrepreneur. Obviously, it wasn't. I didn't know how, but I stumbled into this opportunity in which I realized that people wanted to book luxury homes for short stays, for events and stuff like that, and I couldn't find anything online. And so I ended up figuring out that everybody were doing things through brokers. So it was a word of mouth thing, right? And if you think about it, like it's kind of crazy now with you could do anything online. And I'm like, I'm sure that if I put something online, there's going to be some type of demand. So that's exactly what I did. I actually built the landing page with a small database of homes that I built and did $1.2 million in revenue. Wow. Short-lived business because it was a form of arbitrage, and the industry just blew up within 12 months, right? Like, you had obviously the Airbnb and VRBO really exploding, and then a bunch of other companies that got into the market doing just that. But that's kind of what hooked me into the short-term rental industry. From there, I built and scaled a management company to 300 units across 5 different cities. So I really lived all the different evolutions and steps of the Airbnb industry. And when I was building that company, I realized that it was very hard to scale businesses in that industry with the current ecosystem and technology infrastructure that existed and still exists today. So we started building our own tech, and from building our own tech and really creating a lot of automations, we end up then becoming software providers. We eventually decided not to manage properties anymore and just start selling the software instead, because we fixed a much bigger, broader problem, and so that's how we got to today.
I love that you've kind of like ended up building the software out of like a true need that arose from you actually doing this on a pretty large scale and recognizing that like these things were needed. Let's dig in a little bit to understand more about exactly what the product is, and I'd like to understand, as someone who isn't a property manager of these rental locations, what some of the largest pain points are that you can help solve for.
Yeah, definitely. Well, so there's different pain points at different scale, right? And I've experienced kind of all of them, having been from small to medium to fairly large. Obviously, there's much larger companies out there today. But I also realized that while it was hard for us to scale, it was the same thing for everybody else. There's a few commonalities. One, obviously, hospitality has been a pretty slow to evolve industry. But when you have a centralized operation, like a hotel, you can compensate the lack of technology with people and the fact that you have, again, a centralized operation. When you have a fragmented operation, like it is a short-term rental business, because the reality is that if you want to go large scale, you're going to end up having a lot of different locations, a lot of different places, a lot of different people to manage. It's very, very hard to compensate that with people unless you're giving away all your profits. And so the biggest challenges that you have is that you start implementing different technologies to fix some of these problems. Like, for example, some software to help you manage pricing, something to help you manage reservations, something to help you with cleaning management, right? Something to help you with the accounting side of stuff. And as of today, most of these technologies are, you have a specialty providers that don't really work well with one another. And then you have systems that are supposed to be acting as glues that are called PMSs. It's like almost like, think about like, in a way, like a CRM for a company in which you can have put together different tools. But what they do is they provide you what they call like a marketplace into which they allow you to integrate wherever you want, but these integrations are pretty weak. So you end up managing your business in a dozen different platforms, and you end up having fragmented informations across all these different platforms. So what Jurny has done, the first thing it has done was actually to take best in class and combine it into a single dashboard, single platform, and combine all this data into a centralized locations. That was step one. But why did we do that? Obviously, that allows for better user experience and a much more easier to use software. But the real deep root of that was because we're always been big in automations. From day one, we built this business. We said, like, how can we automate as much as possible? We ended up even developing our own lock at one point, right? Like that's how far we went to create full automated check-in, check-out, because we've been always so big in automations. And we understand that where the world is going in terms of automation, having a centralized database was extremely, extremely important. And by doing that, we end up actually building one of the best possible infrastructure for AI. And so like we actually start going very deep with that technology and start doing some pretty crazy stuff with that as well. So there's a combination of a lot of different things to really ultimately give you the best tool to automate and streamline your operation within the hospitality industry.
So I was watching the video before we hopped on where you talk about Jurny, and one of the things you hit on is when you manage these rentals, a lot of times, and I've been there on the renter side, right? When you're going to an Airbnb and it's, hey, the door's locked. Hey, there's no toilet paper here, and you're getting all of these messages. So like that alone, how do you help with those communications? Are you literally automating responses to the clients? How are you solving for those types of pain points?
Yeah, so having worked closely with, and I know a lot of people use AI and it's becoming a lot of a buzzword, but I also realized that by working with this technology, a lot of people actually don't know much about AI and what it actually can do. Everybody associates that instantly to a chatbot. And yes, it's one of the first applications that you can do, but it's way deeper than that. Already today, by the way, without even thinking the fact that this technology is evolving at exponential rates, and it's pretty insane. But with that, what I want to say is this, is that we see for certainty that soon back office work, which is a good 80% of what a short-term rental company does today and its cost, is going to be almost fully automated. It's pretty crazy, because that's a huge chunk of your costs, right? That means that these companies are going to become insanely more scalable, insanely better at, like, they can invest way more into guest support and actually creating a guest experience into the places itself, versus in this back-end office that you don't see as a guest anyways. You only see it when it's not there. because the service is not good. We see that happening, and we're building that infrastructure, right? And how do we see that happening is because right now we see everybody is aware of a two-dimensional AI infrastructure, which is like you will answer a question, the AI kind of like try to guess the best answers. But actually what we realize that leveraging these existing language models, if you specialize them to do very specific tasks, they become really good at it. Extremely good at it. Better than humans, believe it or not, in many things already, which is kind of crazy, right? Because this technology is evolving, is going to be even better very, very soon. Something that people are going to start hearing about a lot more is AI agents. We've been working with this technology already for a few years, but this is going to be something that is going to become very huge because we already see the application of what it can do. And so basically what is an AI agent is an agent that is specialized in doing specific tasks and master those tasks. So for instance, concierge is one agent, or frequently asked questions, FAQ, ask questions of that specific unit. So how does a microwave work? Or how do I open the garage door and so on. So for that specific units, one agent is all specialized on that. Then you have a QA, like a quality control agent, right? And so you create these different roles, and then you start making these roles interact with one another, like they're real people. And this elevates drastically accuracy and actually what AI can do, and actually allows AI to take action.
I do think from like front-end customer service management, all of those things, there's so many, moving off the critical path, right? So many customers that can be taken care of on the small stuff and leave the human for when things get really, really complicated.
Correct.
And, maybe there's a disaster situation, and that's when you finally get involved.
Yes.
But you removed all those other people you have to deal with while you deal with the really critical, individual that has a real issue.
Exactly.
Which I love. Hey, what's the number to the front door? The agent can do that, right? The AI agent can easily answer those things. I love that. Now, when you think about kind of your core customer to date who's using this platform, do you have kind of a core persona of type of rental agent or rental customer that is utilizing your platform and finds the most value in it?
I'll tell you what our average customer is today is any management company that is between 5 to 50 units. That's kind of like the ballpark that we're focused on. But we also realize that once you build this technology and it works properly and it becomes extremely scalable, the applications of it becomes very, very, very wide. And actually, this is another thing in which we see AI is going to impact things dramatically, is that until today, software has been pretty bound by UI, UX. So, give you an example, every customer is going to have a little bit different needs from its software. And until today, you have to that's why software needs to be very focused on sometimes very specific niches, because they have to develop for those specific requests. But what AI is going to allow to do very, very soon is that, for instance, let's say you need a very specific accounting report that only you from that specific city in whatever, country you're in, you need. It's very hard for software companies to provide that because it's a small market. But now with AI, you can actually have a conversation, which we already have. It's called like AI data scientist. And you actually can have a conversation and have AI build you custom reports to what you need. Reportings in our industry until today were 100% just bound by its UI UX. So you could select your filters and those were it. You couldn't have custom filters. Now you can literally have a conversation with your ERC system, right? Like or potentially your CRM of the future. So software is going to become way more interactive, and the way humans interact with software will dramatically change.
I mean, this feels like a no-brainer, layer that needs to exist in this market. Are there any competitors already in the space that you're seeing, or are you guys really kind of leading the charge?
Honestly, it's shocking to me, but there's very little amount of people outside of, forget about hospitality, but that really have a strong grasp of AI. like I see right now, like the large players. But I think for the first time in history, we've seen like a technology evolving so fast that the infrastructure doesn't exist. So actually, even if AI will stop evolving and we could, let's say GPT-4 was the best AI you could have, already we could see like industry changing solutions. But we're not seeing them because nobody's built the infrastructure. Nobody's built the roads. It's like having like a super fast train that can break the speed of sound, but you don't have the railroads. It doesn't matter that you have it. And so we're very much there. Nobody's built the railroad. So the opportunities are massive right now.
In terms of monetization and how you've been growing the business, right? I think you hit about 2.2 million in revenue last year. What are some of the key growth channels that you're looking at? And then, hitting on that business model, how are you charging for the service?
Yeah, so we charge a flat fee per unit per month. So it starts on a freemium model, so people can sign up for free, test the product. We actually had so much demand on the freemium that right now it's soon gonna get a waiting list. We're starting a waiting list very, very soon because we have too many people on the free side. We have then the premiums, and it's 59 per unit per month, and the other one is 99 per unit per month. Pricing scales then gets discounted if the more units you have, and if you have longer commitments or if you pay in advance, we give you greater discounts. I mean, honestly, we stopped all marketing spend. We don't need to. We're growing pretty rapidly. Organically, so we don't need to spend money in customer acquisition. And our goal right now is, we know as the technology evolves, because in just 12 months of improving the software, the feedback that we got from the software is exponentially better. And so we know what the software is going to be in 12 months from today. It's going to be light years ahead of anything else that is in the market. And that by itself is going to drive tremendous amount of growth.
Is it a pseudo B2C business, individuals just managing a handful of properties, or are you really more in that B2B sector, real people building real businesses? It's both.
No, it's both. It's both. And that's what it's gonna like. And again, like the simplifications of UI, UX thanks to AI is gonna allow us to also target the long tail of the market, which is untapped today.
And when you talk about the long tail, you're talking about people with like one or two properties, not multiple properties.
Yeah.
Got it.
4-5 million hosts about.
Yeah.
So good amount of people.
4 to 5 million hosts, that's obviously a whole ton of people, maybe a little more expensive to acquire those customers. But talk to me about the opportunity within kind of your core, right? Those maybe having 5 to 50 properties. How many of those exist out there that you can go after today?
Also, we're in the millions, and obviously it's very profitable to go after like the larger ones. But our goal with the freemium is not going to cost us any money to acquire even the long tail, and it's not going to cost us money maintaining it, and it's going to be bringing so much efficiency that somebody that is running even 1 or 2 units will be a no-brainer. Like if I can tell you, you don't have to answer messaging. You have a team that does dynamic pricing for you, can handle majority of the task, and will escalate things only to you, only when it's important. It's a no-brainer for you to do it. And we're building all this integration so that you can seamlessly connect with obviously partnership with VRBO, with obviously Airbnb, Booking.com. So it's going to be one-click connection to all these channels, and you're going to be able to distribute all these channels. So it's going to become a no-brainer for the whole industry.
I know the answer. When we talk about incumbents, right, like Airbnb and VRBO that are in the space, there's a part of you that sits here and just goes like, why in the world do these platforms not offer these types of services already? Like, it would enhance the customer experience on the rental side, and it would enhance the experience of being a host. Like, why don't they do this? What are your thoughts on that?
Because it's not their business.
Yeah, they don't want to manage back office.
First, same reason why Google didn't release Gemini until like they had to, right?
Right. They want to be a booking website. They don't want to be a property manager.
Absolutely. And then also like distribution channels don't ever want to do is to help other users connect with other providers, right? Because that's also we're allowed to do. And then offering more outside of their vertical means more problems for them, means learning a whole new market. It's just simply not their business right now.
No, it makes sense. And at the end of the day, it's like if they have a good thing going, it's almost like let's not get distracted by trying to build in a vertically integrated way and do all these other things. So I get that. I'm just always curious, the founder's thoughts on that. I know you're managing, or your software is helping to manage over 2,000 properties. In your experience in talking with some of your customers of Jurny, have you been able to help your customers be able to level up and even own and manage more properties just because of the simplification and time savings? What are some good kind of stories and anecdotes you have on that side of things?
Yeah, so actually we have so many recommendations on our software, so many positive reviews that this year, and being one of the youngest within our industry is pretty mind-blowing. And we were best software and software advice for the vacation rental, for Capterra, and a bunch of them. I was like shocked how many awards we got at the beginning of this year. And if you read the reviews that we're getting, it's all people that are like so blown away how much this is helping their business to be more scalable. And what's extremely fascinating is how many are actually mentioning the AI component, and how that's already, we have many people that are using it in autopilot. So, and this is so crazy. Like 3 months ago, we had no customers leaving the AI answering automatically. We had a pre-populated answers, so you go in and then there was an answer already answered, but there was the ability beta to turn on auto answering. Now, the majority of our customers actually want to get into the full autonomous mode. And so actually we had to add even a time frame in which they can do select on a per units or specific time frames in which when they're going to sleep, or so they don't have to have 24/7, but they will have a 24/7 coverage. So, but the adoption and the speed of adoptions of this technology is what's shocking me. 3 months ago was a different market than it is today.
One of the things mentioned on your offering page is something about Internet of Thing devices. I'm just curious, what does that look like? What does that mean?
It's a connectivity with smart devices integrated within our system. So, for example, you have a smart lock system or a smart thermostats. Our system is able to interact with it. Which, as of today, you create automations, and they're like just like regular software automations, which you create a new code every time there's a guest checking in. And it's automated that way, and we also provide you with a mobile app that people can open and close doors or chat with the guest support or the AI guest support. But what's amazing, and why it's also very important, that part is it's good on its own. But what's even more important is that it's becoming connected to your AI agents now, right? So the ability to troubleshoot a door without being escalated to a human being is mind-blowing. A guest gets locked out, they forgot their code or their phone or their keys, whatever. You can AI will troubleshoot that for them. Will verify the guest and troubleshoot that for them. That's crazy.
As you think 2 to 3 years down the road from now, what does success look like for Jurny?
It's like I said, like being able to manage that 90+% of the back-end office work. And I know that if we achieve that means that outside of the short-term rental market, which is the go-to market because it's where the early adopters are, but this is going to become a must-have, or you will be out of business for anybody within the hospitality industry, right? You have to get up to speed with what's going on with technologies, because that's not a little bit of an advantage, that's a massive advantage.
From a growth perspective, where do you see things going? Is this something that you could continue to kind of grow at the pace you're growing at right now?
The revenue that we have today and the growth rate that we have today, it's meaningless compared to what will come if we are successful at doing what we have to do. Being at a 2 $200, $300 million ARR, it's not going to be a hard task when you're solving that big of a problem.
That makes a lot of sense. You're biting off a small piece of a really, really big pie, and that could lead to quite a bit of opportunity. I see that for sure. Last and most important question for you, as a fellow Italian, if you were to vacation in Italy and you had to pick a place, what is the place you have to go to?
Oh, you asked me a hard question. That's the hardest question of all of the questions you asked me. I mean, I love so many places. I tell you, depending on the season you're going, I would choose different places. Probably spring and fall, I will go to like a nice city. I absolutely love Rome. If you go in summer, I mean, and you get the chance to go around different places with a boat, Sardinia is probably by far one of the best waters you will see, hands down.
Ooh, I like the Sardinia pick. That's a good one. That's really good. All right. That's fantastic. Good way to leave off. Well, Luca, thank you so very much for your time today, for your insights, and for telling us about your company. For those who are interested, you could certainly go check them out on Start Engine. And thank you, everyone, for listening. If you like what you heard on the show today, you can check out our research on Jurny at kingscrowd.com and invest on Start Engine until April 28th, starting at just $499. And please like, subscribe, and share our podcast wherever you listen to podcasts, so more listeners like you can find us. As always, thanks for listening.